let me admit something as to why this is starting to hit me the way that it is. We just had a texter text in 510. Thank you for listening. Okay, Mark. A little sarcastic, but that's all right. How can colleges have no preseason games but play fine week one? I used to use that same argument. It's not an unfair argument, but I've kind of backed off of it a little bit because I just don't think the two are all that comparable. Like, I know it's the same sport, but they're very different. And the majority of great teams in college football, I know there are some exceptions, but the majority don't have any preseason games, and then they start with the Citadel, which is a glorified preseason game. Because what you're not dealing with in college are athletes that are the same as the teams that you play, but you are in the NFL. Plus, I think things are much, much more complex in the way things are kind of delegated throughout a staff. That's actually what Herm Edwards told us yesterday. He's like, the preseason games are very much about the staff. I think there tends to be, this might just be my perception, I think there's a lot more turnover from year to year in the NFL than there is collegiately. I know that's changing in the age of NIL, but from coaches to players, etc., I think that there's more to deal with in the NFL. And I'm not sitting here saying that starters should be running around out there during August. Here's what I am saying. I think that and I am one of the most guilty people I know, we have fallen in to the 2026, or even call it 2018 or 19 or 20 or whatever, the modern era. We have fallen into the trap. We do this as parents. We do this as spouses, and we do it as sports fans. We're overprotective. We try to do everything for everyone. And like, I'm looking at you, and you've got a almost 4-year-old daughter.
Yep.
And you, I know, have had kids from a previous marriage, but your wife has not. And I can promise you, and this is not a criticism, but the two of you will parent that girl very differently than you were parented. And you will try to protect her from all kinds of things that, quite frankly, I could argue you either A, may not be able to protect her from, or maybe you shouldn't, because people need to go out in the world and take some lumps sometimes.
It's funny you say that, because I went to the park with her 2 days ago, and, I sit back about 10 or 15 feet away. She's on the structure, and she's doing what she's doing. I have eyes on her, but about 80% of the other parents or nannies are within 4 to 5 feet of their child who's 2 or 3 or 4. And, first of all, what are you going to do if little Timmy slips and falls and you're right there? Like, you're just going to overreact, and then they're going to cry. And so I'm a little bit more of like a removed, withdrawn father, because I am older and I've been through it once or twice before. And so, yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, and you're not wrong. And as we get further down the road, and it's funny, you talked about me being, quote, parented. I was not parented
at all.
I was fed and kind of clothed.
Yeah.
And like, if I showed up for dinner, I got dinner.
There's no judgment here. I was awful at this. I still am. Jude started 7th grade today. He still gets up on every school morning. All right, well, what's for breakfast, Dad? And big dummy me, oh, you want pancakes this morning? I'll go make pancakes. And I go make pancakes. Because it's who I am, and it's what I love to do. And yes, at times it causes problems, because there's a dependency there that maybe they could have moved through a little bit earlier in life than I allow them to.
It's a little codependency, because you want them to depend on you,
No doubt.
I'm totally with you.
Yeah. So I very much, to me, this is an analogy with the way I hear people watching sports now. You can't protect them. You can't do it. You can try all you want. It's not going to work. Like, plenty of dudes, and I can give you the list, have ended up on IR this year when no one touched them. In fact, the first thing that what's the worst hyphenated word in all of injuries in sports?
Non-contact injury.
Non-contact. So what on earth are you protecting them from? Oh, we can't have joint practices. We can't play them in games. Why? Well, because there's too much contact. Well, what's the worst injury? Non-contact. You can do this simply by changing direction. In fact, that's often what it is. And it's happening in practice constantly. So I'm with Louis Riddick. And I just very much think that, and then I'm trying to get on a soapbox here, but I think that this is kind of who we've become. We really, I had a cat as a kid. His name was Butterscotch.
We need more dogs.
when we meow, we had one named Meow. And you know what we would do? We loved Butterscotch. Butterscotch was the greatest cat I've ever known. He was a lap cat. He was so fun. He was social.
We don't need a bunch of cats in here.
No, we had one. Meow.
Like a cat.
He likes, I don't know if he
Being a
likes.
little cat.
I liked to play football with him.
Butterscotch was being a little cat.
Butterscotch.
What's going on? I said, there's a cat in the house. Cat in the house? I said, yeah, there's a cat in the house.
Yeah, he was the running back. I was the linebacker. I was like Fred Warner. And I trained him. People think you can't train cats. You can. My cat saw me get down on all fours like I was going to tackle him, and he would fall over on purpose. That was his way of saying, I don't like this game, but I kept playing it because I was a kid. And this is what I did with my cat.
So you were Michael Strahan, and he was Brett Favre.
Yeah. Brett Favre. Right. Yeah, exactly. That's a perfect picture.
Butterscotch would just fall down so you could get the cat record?
Totally. And I did. But I bring the cat up because you know what we did with the cat? When he wanted to leave the house, see you, dude. See ya. And we didn't put an eye tag on him. They didn't exist. He went wherever the hell he went.
He's a cat.
And then he came back.
Right.
For dinner. And he came in, and we would watch shows together.
We don't need no meows. Yeah. We don't need no cats.
Rinse, repeat tomorrow. We didn't try. You wouldn't even think of doing that now. I don't think. Lovely Christy, they've got a cat. The cat's not even allowed in the backyard.
Yeah, Cliff the cat, the legendary Cliff that my ex-wife took number 1 overall in the divorce draft. He is a free-range cat. I have no idea where he goes. I do know that every 8 or 9 days he comes back with a bird or a mouse or both if it's been a good day.
Butterscotch did the same thing, and they would love to parade him around. They think they're bringing you a gift. They're like, I don't want that. It's just like a fruitcake. Don't bring me that, please. Now,
you want to see a cat prance proudly? This dude comes back like bird in mouth, like, look at me. Look what I've done.
Exactly.
And he actually stalks. Every year there's like a little nest in the backyard where mama bird is thinking, I'm okay. I'm up here. And Cliff will just sit there and wait until mama bird flies out to get some worms or whatever. And then Cliff is like, you don't need more dogs. You need me.
Meow.
That's right.
It's no different than when the kids bring home that artwork from 3rd grade. You're like, oh, for me? Let's put it on the fridge. It's beautiful.
You'll wait till they go to bed and it's in the recycle bin.
Anyway,
that's it.
We live in an area that's got a lot of wildlife, so I understand why my lovely wife and her daughter do not let the cat outside. They may never see the cat again. I understand. But this is what I know. I don't have a cat anymore, but this is what I know a lot of families. This is how you do it now. You don't let the animals out because we have to protect everyone from everything. And it just popped into my head as I was listening. First of all, as I read Louis Riddick yesterday, and I'm thinking about yet another August where no matter how much we shave off of this, the takes are going to be the same again next August. We've got Herm Edwards. We had 6 preseason games. Then we went to 5. Then we went to 4. Now we're down to 3. A lot of people think as soon as we go to an 18-game schedule, it's going to go down to 2. Can we get to 0? Probably. We probably will. Will it help? My opinion, no. No. It might make it worse. I have no idea. I'm not a doctor. I don't study the science. I have no idea what's going to happen. But I do not believe that the more we try to trim all this stuff away because it frustrates us when players get hurt, I don't think there's any way to protect them.
Well, I mean, you could protect them to the extent that they wouldn't be getting hurt in these meaningless preseason games. And I know a practice can happen and a guy can get hurt in practice, and that's just part of what happens when you are a pro football player. But when you have these games that are preseason games and you play a guy and he goes out there and he gets hurt in a preseason game, that doesn't really matter. And yeah, you can sharpen up your tools and you can develop that callus and all the rest of it. And so there's value in that. But beyond that part of it, like, the preseason games, honestly, if they were that important, these guys would play more of them.
We just got a text that you'll enjoy. 510. The wife has 3 cats, and they've only sniffed outside in a carrier.
Right. And honestly, and I'm not trying to judge
dogs.
other cat owners, but first of all, if you declaw your cat, that is cruel and unusual.
Yeah, that's taking their defenses away.
Exactly. Well, some people will declaw the cat and have him be an indoor cat.
Right.
And that to me is like completely not dehumanizing because it's not a human, but you're taking away the actual essence of being a cat. And so if you have a cat and you don't allow them to be outside, then to me, you're not doing it right as a cat owner.
Well, I mean, I do think there are circumstances that are different. First of all, the cat, the characteristics of the cat. I do think where you live matters. You got a bunch of coyotes running around.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, sure. So I'm not here to judge. I'm just observing. And I think that that's a piece of what has become the conversation in football. Especially, we are ground zero for this. We are the substation of the entire injury conversation in football because we feel more affected by it. We feel more triggered by it. And so there's this constant, at least what I hear, there's either just people who want to express constant concern or all kinds of different ideas on how you can fix this. You can move your practice facility. You can practice less. You can practice in a different way. You can fire your trainer and then fire him again the next year if it doesn't go better. You can do all of these things. And my opinion is you're still not going to stop injuries. It's not going to stop.
You're not going to stop the injuries, but you can lessen the chance that you have injuries during a time that is really not going to matter.
Maybe.
And that to me is the bigger issue.
Do you know that for a fact?
No, you don't. And you could have a guy not play at all. Like, let's just talk about, Trent Williams, who he's healthy and he's not going to play preseason. I don't know if he's doing a lot of joint practices and you're going to go ahead and kid glove him and you get to week 1 and he might pop a hammy and it might be because he didn't actually play during the preseason. So to your point, like just because you bubble wrap a guy doesn't mean that he's going to be guaranteed to not get hurt.
Well, no, I mean, football players will tell us they're guaranteed to get hurt. Right? What's the injury rate by week 17?
You say 100%.
100%.
And you're probably not wrong.
Yeah. Now, Trent does practice, and to me, that might be a little bit more. He's a special one because one thing, and if you're a Warrior fan, you know this, and actually just if you're a human being and you know this, if you're a human being that's either had his or her 30th birthday or 40th birthday or 50th birthday, just the matter of age will suggest that your injury chances go way up. So with Trent Williams, he is much older, much more of an advanced NFL age, number one. He's also carrying around north of 300 pounds. So I don't really make a distinction between what it is Trent's doing. I'm just making a distinction into whether he's doing anything at all. So what I'm saying by that is I don't think there's any more chance that he gets hurt in a preseason game than in a practice. I mean, you're engaging a defender either way. You're activating your body. You're changing directions. You're doing all of this at age 38 or whatever he is. And so I don't know if I've seen any data that's going to tell me joint practices and preseason games are actually more dangerous than regular practices. I mean, he's not wearing the quarterback jersey. You can touch him. You can hit him. You can knock him around. He's doing reps with Niner defenders. I don't see that as being very different than doing reps with Charger defenders.
I think it's different to the extent that, you're going against your teammate and your teammate might be a little more aware of who you are and how old you are. And not that they're going to go easy on you because you're Trent Williams, but the other team, like the Chargers, they're not going to even really care who they're going against. It's going to be more intense. And again, we are kind of splitting hairs. I think the bigger question for me is what's the value of going through all of this? And for me, the value is finding out your 2s and your 3s, who actually is good enough to make the team, not your 1s.
I can't answer that. Only the people who do it can answer that. And every single time you and I or any other show we've done, whenever we have people on who do this, they swear there's value. Have you ever had a coach? Have you ever even heard a coach sniff around the idea of, we really don't need to do this?
No, but there's different value for different teams. Like the Rams will not play a lot of their guys ever at all. And, Buffalo had Josh Allen play 2 series in the opener.
Very specific group, though. I think McVay's gotten this reputation he doesn't play anybody, which is not true.
But he doesn't play his top high-profile guys.
Very specific guys. Right. And again, with Matt Stafford, we're talking about someone who is the same age as Trent Williams, I think. So we're talking about somebody who's much older. If Aaron Donald does come back, same thing. They're going to be very, very easy there. Devontae Adams, advanced age. But I don't know that he's sitting everybody all the time. Same thing like joint practices. Those guys, they participate. The Rams participate in joint practices, even the good ones, to a certain degree. So I understand where you're coming from. I think this is what we've seen health groups do in sports now. They kind of have almost an individual plan for every player. I know the Warriors do. They've spoken about it. Like they'll sit down at the beginning of the year, in theory, and almost have a blueprint for Steph Curry, for Al Horford, for Kristaps Porzingis. They might be able to tell you in October which games they're going to miss in February because there's a lot of science around it. So I can't discount what you're saying. I just think it's different for every player.
It is, and I do think that as we continue to evolve as a sports science country and teams start to figure it out, I look at the Niners this year, and it seems like they're going about their practices a little bit differently, where if you've got a little tiny thing, if it's a tweak or if it's tightness or if it's a quad for Evans or if it's a hamstring for Dejon Stribling, you go ahead and you sit for a week and then we'll get back to you, as opposed to the old school, which is, you can't make the club from the tub. I think that now teams are being a little bit more hyper aware of, protecting guys early in the year.